What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title's going out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Definitely wild. Pam Bondi just dropped a massive bombshell that has sanctuary cities mayors shaking in their boots. Telling y'all, she declared sanctuary cities are finished, not in 4 years, but by the end of this year. Saying no more. And honestly, can't say I blame it. Check it out.
There will be no more sanctuary cities?
No way.
Okay.
No way. No more sanctuary cities. I wouldn't even say 4 years. I'd say give it to the end of the year. Sanctuary cities are over. There are no more sanctuary cities as far as the federal government's concerned. What a sanctuary city means is they are harboring criminals. They are harboring illegal aliens. And if you're tipping someone off when there is going to be an ICE raid, DHS raid, we will find you and we will prosecute you. That jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. Not going to happen anymore. It's a new day, and we're coming after you.
Let me tell y'all something. I can definitely say that I believe it. When she just said 4 years, and then Pam Bondi responded, I wouldn't even say that. I give it to the end of this year. I believe that because just based off of how they're working now and the response that you're getting from these mayors, you truly get a bad response. You truly see the investigations and things that happen. I know a lot of y'all are looking at the fact that, you want to see arrest. You want to see more out of it. And I do too. But one thing that I tell you right now is that they definitely have a lot of individuals shaking their boots because I feel like the President Trump and the Trump administration are tired of letting people get away with a lot of things. Truly believe that. You got it right here. It says Minnesota housing developer says they're now several weeks behind because of the ICE, being in the area. And before this video plays, I definitely want to say that it just goes to show you this isn't the first time. Because she says, all the workers keep being detained at work or on the way to work. And it literally just goes to show you how many individuals are, obviously, are illegal.
We are behind, and we're one of many companies quite behind, several weeks behind.
As her subcontractors are faced with this daily question with ICE in the community.
Are you comfortable going to work?
The answer, increasingly, is no, as more are detained at or on their way to work.
How do I guarantee you that just because you've done things through due process, that if you show up to work today, nothing's going to happen to you?
You can't.
We can't.
And while her customers are understanding, work has nearly stopped. Cash flow doesn't add up. And she fears after 15 years in business, this will be her last.
We don't have very many crews working at all right now, but the ones that we do are taking risk. When it happens to someone you know and care about, it means something different. But I know I'm far from the only one in the situation that I'm in. I'm genuinely very afraid of what's going to happen.
I assume building will slow, costs for these services will go up. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yes. What I'm hopeful for is that we can all come together and work together to make this process safer and more efficient. How do we protect the people that we need to protect? And it's just not that simple anymore.
Let me explain something to y'all. It's really wild that you have individuals. It's more so, and it sounds more so like of using. And I say this because a lot of individuals, and like even this saying right here, people don't realize how much this affects American workers. I have seen lots of friends in my time lose their small businesses because of illegals being paid cash and half the wages they had to pay, their legal workers. When it comes to fence companies, trim, you got painters, all close shop because they could not compete with illegals. It's not work we won't do. It's trade work that deserves to be rewarded for the knowledge. Okay, so I've seen this too. I've obviously seen this too, and many of y'all probably have too. I've obviously seen it right here. I've seen it. Other people talk about it, and it's very true. A lot of individuals, and they say, this is not to put anybody down, but a lot of these individuals obviously come here with nothing. So they'll do whatever, definitely to make ends meet. So when you have a person and you have somebody that actually, obviously knows how to do the work, they have a family to feed. But the thing is they obviously are U.S. citizen, and they're doing the work and doing what they need to do, and they're getting paid a certain amount of money. You have individual that obviously don't care. Hey, give me less than what he got. It's okay. We'll do whatever. Almost for free if we got to. We'll do it. I'm telling y'all, and you have that, you gotta compete with that. And I'm not saying, that it's just a lot of things when it comes down to it. It's a lot of things when it comes down to it. And I say this because not only that, a lot of these individuals are getting a lot of benefits on top of what they got going on already. And there's actually people. What I'm saying is, and I'm not going back and forth with this, is that, and I don't want to come across a bad way, but it's about making America first, putting America first, putting Americans first. And I say that because I feel like it's definitely important. Definitely important to do that, because I just feel you have so many people. And again, I don't want to make this sound the wrong way, because I know that a lot of people got to feed their families. I know a lot of people, gotta, having that money in your pocket. I know things can get tough out here. But when I tell y'all, when I truly tell y'all that it's very sickening that people that I know that don't get the benefits that they need, family, but then you have somebody that, comes here obviously illegally, and they're getting all types of benefits when it comes to housing, when it comes to food, when it comes to clothes, when it comes to all these things. It's definitely sickening to me, and I don't like it whatsoever. On top of replacing, a lot of individuals. So one thing about it, man, me personally, I stand with, what Trump got, what he got in the Trump administration, regardless. Tom Homan makes it crystal clear. Hundreds of DHS agents are staying put in Minnesota to continue major fraud investigations. A lot of people think that, obviously everything is, shut down. It's not at all. Check it out.
He sent me to Minneapolis to do 3 things. De-escalate, done. Take public safety threats off the street. Over 4,000 illegal aliens were arrested, done. Gain cooperation from state and local law enforcement, so it makes the agent's job safer to arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a facility, done. But even though we're drawing down resources, we still want to have hundreds of special agents here drawn down on the fraud here from the Somatic community and others. Those fraud investigations can continue until they're done. We're going to hold people responsible. We're also got investigators here doing the church investigations, to include Don Lemon. We're not walking away from everything. We've achieved what we came here for. This is like any other surge operation. L.A., it ended. Los Angeles, it ended. Charlotte, it ended. New Orleans, it ended. This is ending the surge, but we're not going away. And let me say this. Over 800 flights a day land in St. Paul, Minnesota. If we need to come back, we'll come back.
One thing about it is that I love, the energy that individuals have, within the Trump administration. Says translation, the mission isn't over, not even close. And I definitely love that, based off of, what's going on around, especially within Minnesota. It is a lot of work that needs to be done, truly. And I'm definitely here for it, and I know y'all are too. Y'all see it in the title. This is, interview with Caitlin Collins and Mayor Fry. As Mayor Fry goes on CNN and continues his campaign of lying about ICE. I'm not even going to tell y'all, and I'm going to just let y'all listen to this. I haven't seen this whole thing, so I'm watching it with y'all. So if y'all see me stop it, I apologize.
Tom Homan today, who I know you've met with since he's been there on the ground in Minneapolis, was describing the operation and basically the state of it when he got there. And he also defended it and saying he viewed the immigration operation as a success. But I want you to listen to what else he said about how they performed while they were in your city.
There were some issues here, and we addressed those issues. But I'm not going to sit here and say anybody did anything wrong and that, they were, unprofessional. I'm going to say there's some issues here. We fixed those issues. We've had great success with this operation, and we're leaving Minnesota safer.
When you hear that and you think about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, I mean, do you view that as issues?
Issues would be certainly the understatement of the century. These are people that should be alive today. Alex.
And one thing about it, I truly agree. And some people, hey, y'all probably looking at the simple fact. You know what I mean? Y'all probably looking at the simple fact. You know, I can't say too much on here. But me personally, I agree. This is one time that I definitely agree with Mayor Fryer was saying these are people that should be here. And I don't want this to sound a bad way. They're not here because of the actions that they took. When you have Renee Good that's in there and she didn't get out the car, there's one or two things that's going to happen in that situation. Let me tell y'all something. It's either you get out the car and you talk to them. I apologize. Let me get out of here. That's on me. I apologize. That would show an individual, okay, well, she apologized. We done. Hands up. You know what? I'm in the way. Or you get placed in handcuffs. You get taken to jail, taken wherever, and you can leave. Leave it at that. But for her to take that extra step and pull that car in front of and do that. When you got Alex Preddy, a person that has, again in the past, damaged ICE agents' vehicles, yelling and doing different things, of assaulting, then you put yourself and place yourself in a position. Not only that, but to have a weapon on you. I mean, come on, y'all. It's more than that thing about it. We gotta stop. We gotta start actually being truthful for what things are. And this dude clearly isn't.
And Renee were standing up for their neighbors. They were practicing First Amendment and Second Amendment and 10th Amendment and probably Fourth Amendment. Bottom line is constitutionally protected activity was taking place. And so, I mean, one of the things that I find the most repulsive is that had there not been video evidence of what was taking place, the federal government would be running with a lie, and some of us would be believing that lie. These were not domestic terrorists. These were part of our Minneapolis collective family. These were neighbors. They were family members. We love them, and they deserved better. Now, the meetings that I had with Border Czar Homan were productive. They were collegial. They were good meetings where, yes, we made some obviously good progress. And at the same time, when he talks about the issues that took place, yeah, there were massive and extensive issues. And it wasn't limited, of course, to the killings that we just talked about. It was this practice of, hunting down people that had done nothing wrong. It was the detention of United States citizens. It was the dragging of a pregnant woman through the street. It was.
My thing is when let me tell y'all something. It's one thing of an individual just going towards a pregnant woman or an individual with a child and like intentionally like, oh yeah, I see them with that. They pregnant, they got a child with them. Bro, these individuals, I promise y'all, are placing themselves in these positions to get a reaction out of other individuals that's on the internet. Let me tell y'all something. This is the first time I actually thought about this. And I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. Social media is a strong thing. Social media is strong. And I say this because of that. This is bothering me. I'm sorry. I say this because of this, y'all. If social media wasn't a thing, I guarantee a lot of these individuals that's doing a lot of this now, today, wouldn't do it. I'm going to tell y'all why. To make it make sense. First of all, and the thing is, my nana agreed with this. My grandmother, she agreed with this. The world, when it comes down to it, has gone soft. So a lot of the things that y'all see that individuals are doing in the streets, they call it protesting, they doing this, doing that. They doing it because the internet. They want to be on the internet. They want a reaction out of individuals. Obviously, that's on the internet. You know, that's why a lot of that. Because let me tell y'all something. It was real. It was no social media or anything. A lot of those individuals will not be out there. Everyone's phones, everybody recording, everybody doing this, doing that. Guaranteed. No, I just feel like me just being me and just thinking about that, I truly feel like that's something that people wouldn't go out and do. They know they're going to be out on camera. They have cameras out themselves. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, people put themselves in worse positions, in bad positions, to where it leads to an arrest or leads to something worse, just like Renee Good or Alex Preddy. So when you have those things, people actually have to think about a lot. People, now I'm telling y'all, man, I truly feel as if these individuals are doing, obviously, a lot of this for attention. I'm telling y'all.
Having these massive and traumatic impacts on children. And it's both children that were detained as well as those that were fearful of their families getting ripped apart that will experience this kind of mental duress long term.
Yeah, and
like I said, this individual, just like somebody say right here, Mayor Fry lies for a living. That's exactly what he's doing. Anytime he's speaking in front of anybody, it's a lie. Truly. This right here is Greg Gutfield. I had to throw this, clip in here because he made extreme sense with this right here. Check this out.
We're way past the part of caring about what CNN or anyone in the mainstream media has to say about anything because there's no coming back from the Biden era. We were under no obligation to believe or even take them seriously. I keep trying to think, is there anything I would take seriously if it came from the mainstream media? The weather, sports scores, celebrity deaths. That's really small turf. And it could be done by AI. So I can't envision what else you could trust them on. CNN to me is like a constantly cheating spouse who gaslit you every time they came home, smelling like cheap perfume and their underwear on backwards. So I imagine it even must be frustrating for them, because even if they change their ways, everybody else is like, we're just going to move on.
Telling y'all, one thing about it, and that's why I had to put this clip out here, is because I truly feel as if individuals, myself, people that obviously, speak, I feel like so many people turn to, us in a sense, or others, not just me, of course, rather than looking at, the mainstream media and looking at what's going on. Obviously, certain things, but as you see a clip or see somebody just like that Mayor Fry clip, I'm sure, people have seen that and like, oh yeah, I'm about to go check out, this individual and see what they got to say. I feel like it's more so of that rather than individuals actually watching what's going on in mainstream media, truly, because you have too many of lies and them actually not even caring about it, truly. One thing that I've always said is that a lot of these individuals that get on here and lie and say different things, they get paid millions of dollars, y'all, millions of dollars. And I know some people may think that you have so many YouTubers, and it's a blessing. I'm not sitting here complaining at all that YouTubers, and different people, and it's some, that make pretty good money, but not me personally. Even I'm gonna say myself. Not as nearly as what, a lot of these individuals are getting paid. And it's not about the money. I'm not even about to go there. It's more so about them getting on there and giving out false information, inciting violence, doing wrong, and them getting paid good money for it. That's the thing about it. And I truly hate that. I'm telling y'all. Here it is again. Tom Homan confirms there are new agreements with local and state law enforcement in Minnesota that pulling back on the surge will only continue if Minnesota honors their end of the deal. You got Mayor Fry, of course. He's making it seem like, and going and getting on this CNN or wherever he's getting on and lies. But truly, he knows. He trust and believe. President Trump got a lot on lock.
Last week, you announced the months-long operation known as Metro Surge in Minnesota is winding down. ICE, of course, is going to maintain a presence in the state, but not at the levels we've seen in recent weeks. If things keep winding down, when should that surge be over?
Well, look, we already removed well over 1,000 people, and as of Monday or Tuesday, we'll remove several hundred more. We'll get back to the original footprint, with the exception of the agents there to do the fraud investigation. Will stay there and continue their work until they're done. The agents investigating the church issue, where the people went into the church, they'll stay and get that work done. But there will be a small force, a security force, what we call RFQs. Our security forces that will respond to when our agents are out and they get surrounded by agitators and things got out of control. And they'll remain for a short period of time just to make sure the coordination, the agreements we have with local and state law enforcement stay in place and they respond to a public safety threat when needed. And so hopefully those security forces, that small footprint security forces can be removed really fairly quickly. I'm hoping.
Sure.
I think things are going the right direction, and I got faith they'll continue that way.
Definitely. Like I said, one thing about it is that I know for a fact this is something that's just not going to be all we're done with Minnesota. Definitely not. I feel like there's other places, obviously, that needs, ICE agents as they're, going through more individuals that are, trying to become ICE agents. One thing about it, though, is that I truly, truly, truly want, individuals, to be safe, which I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I put that clip in here. I might not have put that clip on there, but I'm pretty sure they have security for these ICE agents, because I definitely feel like things, and I ain't gonna say that it'll be worse, because I feel like Minnesota is definitely wild. California, I don't know, but one thing about it, I want them to be safe. I want them to be safe in what they're doing and what's going on. And then on top of that, I also want them to make sure they applying pressure and keeping up and not letting, that whole fraud in Minnesota be swept up under the rug. I'm telling y'all. Check it out. Vice President J.D. Vance.
If you look at the amount of fraud in the welfare system, according to the statistics I've seen, 85% of Somalians who are in the United States, legal and illegal, are collecting some form of welfare benefits. So that's not to disparage the other 15%, but when you're at 85% of a population that is collecting welfare, that suggests that we have really done something wrong with regards to vetting, and that's the fundamental issue. Even if there's no fraud, 85% collecting welfare is way too many damn people collecting welfare, getting rich off the American taxpayer while a lot of Americans struggle. That's unacceptable.
Very unacceptable. Tell you that much. It's very, and I truly agree. It's very unacceptable, and I truly, I just hate it. I definitely hate it for the individuals that, they're getting money from. Then, like I said, before. Not only that, these individuals are getting money, y'all. They're getting this money. They're getting assistance on living. I seen that they're getting $7,000. Soon as they get out, I'm telling y'all, soon as they go into, when it comes down to Minnesota with the benefits they get, it's truly insane. Truly insane. Check it out here. This is President Trump talking about the fraud in Minnesota.
Look at Minnesota. So we think it's at least $19 billion of fraud, medical, every fraud. Somalia has come in here. What they've done to our country, these people, they've come into our country, and what they've done with that fake congresswoman, she's so bad. No, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We have the best people maybe in the whole country looking at that. We're looking at California too, because California is worse. But, if we find 50%, look, they've been robbing and ripping off this country for many years, for decades, right? If we find 50% of what's happened,
Yep.
we have a balanced budget without
now.
cutting anybody. We have a balanced budget. And we'll find it. Minnesota is very corrupt. California is very corrupt. A lot of states are very corrupt. Look at
Definitely.
Minnesota.
Definitely. And that's why I said that right there. I got to take this. I got to mute this. Hold on. Let me see. I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube, y'all, with the pictures and stuff that be popping up. But when I tell y'all that one thing about it is that I know Minnesota is bad, but like I said before, there's other places that are pretty bad as well. When it comes to fraud, when it comes to, the illegal aliens, when it comes to a lot. And I feel like this right here and what President Trump is doing, I know a lot of people are, I voted for him to do this and I voted for him to do that. Bro, y'all got to think. And I'm not making up no excuses. Y'all got to think, y'all. He's actually doing a lot more than what you think, a lot more than the Biden White House. Definitely say. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.